Brexit obviously is the number one risk in the UK, and you were starting to see some evidence of that really starting to weigh on activity in the UK. Obviously, it weighed on the pound a lot over the last year or so, but that's sort of something that's stabilized. The pound's it's actually up almost % over the last 3 months, up just over a little percent, or just over 1%, 1.3% over the past month or so. So the pound is definitely stabilized in the context of down dollar. We'll see if that that can hold. But definitely UK markets have really responded to on the margin, an understanding or greater understanding of Brexit fear. So UK stocks, if you look at the FTSE 100, actually the FTSE All Shares Index is up almost 7% over the past 3 months alone, up 2% over the past month effectively. That's definitely, you're starting to see markets reflect, okay, we're okay with Brexit, or maybe it's not going to happen, maybe the risk is lower than we initially thought. But if you think about activity, sort of, consumers and businesses in the UK are definitely not, taking that view. So if we have a stat here: investment in central London office buildings for the first quarter of this year was down 52% quarter over quarter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and on a year-over-year basis, investment in UK commercial property was down 42% year over year. So you effectively just have investment stalling and crashing with the expectation that corporations are either going to move corporations aren't going to move to the UK. That's one, and two, they might move out of the UK in terms of domiciling their operations. So that's a huge hit. And then sort of Financial Times is out this morning with sort of anecdotal evidence of hiring freezes in and around the UK financial sector. I'm not big on anecdotes, but for the now, it's really all we have to really grasp at in terms of whether or not Brexit is a material risk, and if it's being priced into UK economic activity and UK financial markets. Just thinking about the Brexit vote, which is on June 23rd. The most recent polls, you had 2 polls come out this week. One from TNS, which showed that 38% of voters preferred to stay, 34% of voters preferred to leave, with 28% undecided. So that's a huge margin for error in terms of we really don't know. It's effectively a coin toss. And then the RB survey was a little more tight than that. So you have 53% of voters electing to stay, with 41% electing to leave, with only 6% undecided. So even if all those 6% undecided, they'd still leave. You obviously have the leadership in the UK pounding the table on the benefits of remaining in the EU, but obviously these fringe parties, really much like we were seeing domestically here with Bernie Sanders and Trump, are really rallying sort of fringe people, fringe voters to really get against to draw the line on immigration and draw the line on sort of they took our jobs mantra with respect to the EU and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. Right now, if you had to put a gun to my head, which I hope no one does, I'd say the UK remains in the EU. But again, this is obviously open the envelope risk that no one really has a clear decision on. I mean, like that. Asking whether or not the UK is going to remain in the EU is like asking who I think the U.S. president will be. I mean, Hillary's a front runner, but it doesn't mean she's going to win the election. Bernie Sanders could put on a move, Trump could put on a move. Who knows? We don't know, and that's the whole point.